नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणिक्षाने निर्विशेषशून्यवादिपासादिस्थाने वाञ्छाकल्पद्रुवेश कृपा सिन्धुवेश पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपिका गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते तत्काञ्चन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी सुधानुसुतो देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रियो नीलाचल साय नित्याय परमात्मने वरभद्रश्रीमद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर मुक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण. So from which verse we were supposed to start? I think 9th chapter we were in, as far as I remember.
Oh, Patram Pushpam Phalam to 9.26.
Okay. Patram Pushpam. Oh, beautiful verse. Okay, after talking about demigod worship, now Lord explains how compared to that, the worship of the Lord is so easy. Worship done by devotees is so easy. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayakshati tadaham bhakti uparitam asnami pratatmanah. Please read the translation.
If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Lord says, and Lord explains, see, demigod worshippers have to experience so much of trouble of seeing time, place, circumstances, ingredients, and none of the things should be improper. All the things have to be proper. But as far as devotees are concerned, Lord says, I accept anything which is offered with bhakti. But by a real devotee, even if it is leaf, flower, fruit, or water. So amazingly, Lord uses the word pushpam also, flower. Now nobody eats the flower. But Lord says that even if you offer me flower with love, I'll eat that also. Asnam practically means eating. And we have practically seen, like we find in the example of Vidura. So when Krishna visited Hastinapur, so then Duryodhan offered him 56 items, Chapan Bhog. And Lord said that no, Duryodhan, I cannot eat. The reason is that person eats under two circumstances. First is either out of hunger or out of love. As far as I am concerned, I am Atma Ram, I don't feel hungry. And as far as you are concerned, you don't have any love. So there is no question of eating in your house. And then without being invited, he directly goes to the house of Vidura. And in the house of Vidura, Vidurani was there, Vidura was not there. So Vidura heard that Krishna is coming, or he has come to my house, he goes out for making arrangements. And Vidurani, in great haste, she finds only bananas in the house because they never expected that Krishna will come to our house. So in hurry and in haste, out of anxiety, she was throwing away the peel of banana and giving the banana cover. But amazingly, Krishna was eating that peel also, not eating the pulp. Sorry, she was removing the pulp and giving the peel. And Krishna was just eating the peel. And after a long time, when Vidura came there, he was like seeing the phenomena. He was so angry with Vidurani. You foolish lady, do you know what you are supposed to offer to the Lord? That time Vidurani realized, instead of giving peel, I am giving pulp. Instead of giving pulp, I am giving the peel. And Krishna is eating also very nicely. So that's why Krishna says, if you give out of love, I will eat even flower. Or the flower is not supposed to be edible. Now suddenly he's not saying cauliflower or any other flower like that. He's talking about real flower, any flower you give. But then it should be given by Bhakta. Krishna has spoken twice to emphasize it has to be given by devotee, not a person who becomes devotee only on Janmashtami. So there are only yearly devotees or seasonal devotees. So Krishna is not talking about this spuritic devotion. Spuritic devotion means Janmashtami comes, you are devotee of Krishna. When Ram Navami comes, you become devotee of Lord Ram. When Durga Ashtami comes, you become devotee of Durga. And when there is Ganesh Chaturthi, you become devotee of Ganesh. Krishna is not talking about that sort of devotion. Devotion means my devotee, continuous devotee. He doesn't change. But then Lord says, whatever my devotee gives in a suitable way, I accept it. Now, what type of offering is this? He doesn't offer it because somebody told him to offer. He offers out of love. Not that, no, what to do. If I eat like that, family members will say something. Or in a temple, no, temple authorities will say something. What will devotees say? I'm eating on food. But not because, if I eat otherwise, I'll get karma. Krishna is a karma purifier. Let me put in front of Krishna. It will be purified of karma, then I'll take it. Not for that reason. When devotee offers out of love, the first thing it should be done by a devotee. Second thing, it should be offered out of love. But Lord says that there is one more condition. Priyat Atmana. Priyat Atmana means he should be giving out of pure body, not impure body. So pure body means ritually it should become pure. So Atmana has three meanings: body, mind, and soul. Now, as far as mind and soul is concerned, devotee should be willing to offer to the Lord. He should have that devotion for the Lord. And when it comes to body, body has to be pure. Like for ladies, during menstrual cycle and other periods, they are not supposed to offer. So that time body becomes impure. And also we do asman. We do asman to purify. So when it is done like that, then Lord says, I accept. So, yeah. So then Lord says, these are the conditions. These conditions are there and I personally eat it. So that's how not much conditions are there as compared to demigod worship, Ashtanga yoga, etc. So I told conditions. So first condition should be a genuine devotee. Second is it should be given with devotion, not because it's told to be given or just because Krishna's karma purifier. Third thing is it should be done with pure body, mind, and soul. Then Krishna takes, I accept it. I personally eat it. So Krishna is not much worried about ingredients. Certainly it has to be vegetarian, like now, without onion and garlic. Because that is the only thing which Krishna likes. But at the same time, not many conditions are there. Okay. Fine. So then, among all types of devotees, Arjuna's question, among all types of devotees, you have mentioned which bhakti I should perform. What are devotee bhakti I should perform? Then Krishna gives the answer in text number 27. Yat karosi yad asnasi yad johosi tadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat purusmadarpanam. Yeah.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Susakar Jantu, another question? Or Visakama?
Hare Krishna. So, regarding that offering, I just had one inquiry. Generally, while preaching, actually, in the beginning stage, devotees started chanting, and they also come to the level of chanting 16 rounds. And because of the family, this thing, they are not able to still come to the level of completely non-alcoholic or something like that. But still they have a genuine desire, they want to cook for the Lord. Still they have a non-veg, but at the same time, sometimes they cook for the Lord and offer also. And it is said that, when they offer it in that mood, so what should be, and they also come up and offer to us also. Now they have started chanting mantras and everything. How we should treat them. They were, they've been inspired, by hearing the classes, everything. They also feel very much interested and they want to serve devotees. They cook and offer, they maintain some standards, but even then, so
See, the main thing is when they can come in temple and cook also. That can always be accepted. That's not a problem. They can come to your house and cook. That's not a problem. But when they're cooking in their house in the same vessels where meat is being cooked, then certainly Krishna will not accept that.
Mhm.
So there can be separate vessels.
yeah, they kept
There
a
are two separate vessels, stove, etc. And they are cooking without onion and garlic, then Krishna can accept.
Okay.
So if there are separate vessels where it is cooked without onion and garlic, then Lord can accept it. That's not a problem. And because Lord can accept, we can also accept. But not in the same vessels. Some standard has to be.
Mhm.
Otherwise, what will happen is, if we don't maintain a standard, then we will get affected. Because Krishna has not taken that.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you, Babu.
Adi. Okay. So now text 27. So Krishna says, Arjuna, so you have rejected karma, jnana, etc. But at the same time, you cannot practice keval bhakti. So you should practice something in between karma, jnana, misra bhakti and pradhanibhut bhakti. So it should be something between mixed devotion service and pure devotion service. So because the talk about pure devotion service is going on, it's very clear there's no talk about mixed devotion service. So when Krishna is saying whatever you do, whatever you offer, give away, do it as an offering to me, that means Krishna is talking about only those things which are aspects of bhakti. He's not talking about other aspects. If you see contextually. At the same time, it is one step lesser than pure devotion service. Within pure devotional service, devotee does whatever Krishna wants. Here, devotee is selecting one of the items of Krishna consciousness and then offering it to the Lord. So that's why it is one step lesser than pure devotional service. So in that sense, it's lesser. But still, what Lord says, Tat krus mat arpanam, offer it to me. So if it is not pure devotional service, then what is going to be the result? So what is going to be the result? Lord speaks in 28. And then I'll explain both together, 27, 28 more in context with our practical life. शुभाशुभ फलेर एवं मोक्ष से कर्म बंधने संन्यास योग युक्त आत्मा विमुक्तो माम उपैस्यसि. Please read the translation.
In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me, in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me.
So what Lord says is, in this way, free from Subha Usabha, or by process mentioned in previous verse, what will happen? You will be liberated from the bondage of karma, from unlimited pious and sinful activities. And in this way, with mind engaged in renunciation, sannyasa, you will not only be liberated, but you will be preeminent among liberated souls. How preeminent among liberated souls? Vimukta. Vimukta means Vishesh Mukti, especially. What is that Vishesh Mukti? Krishna will say, you will come to me. You will become my close associate. That means either in Vaikuntha, one will become get a Samyapa Mukti, or one can go to Goloka. So Krishna is so practical and accommodative that even if somebody is one step lesser than pure devotion service, Lord says, I'll accept. And actually speaking, this particular aspect of pure devotion service, or something which is lesser than pure devotion service yet, is something practical for most of the devotees, really speaking. So, especially whether for some aspects for grastas and for most of the aspects for brahmacharis. So for grastas, what happens is, now suddenly we say that we'll eat only what Krishna likes. But then when you stay in a family, their husband likes something, children like something, and then we offer that to Lord, and then we accept it as a prasad. So that's not exactly pure devotion service. Pure devotion service means whatever Krishna likes, you give it. That you offer that to the Lord. That means whatever seasonal vegetables, fruits are there, you offer it without thinking about whether I'll enjoy or not enjoy. But Lord says, even if it is one step lesser, no problem. Yad asnasi, you have to eat. Asnasi means eating. So whatever you are going to eat, then offer it. Similarly, for brahmacharis also, now suddenly brahmacharis have no choice of turning their menu in the brahmacharya ashram, whatever is food we eat there. So that aspect, you can say, okay, fine, full surrender is there, whatever is given we eat. Although sometimes meetings are there, but things are heard, not heard is a different thing. So the point is, that's not the main thing. But as far as service is concerned, so for each one of us, we have some propensities. So brahmachari who stay in brahmacharya ashram also have certain propensities towards certain services, and they may not like certain services. So pure devotion service means whatever is said, we do it. But as soon as we express, then you are one step shorter than pure devotion service. But then Lord says, don't worry. Even if a desert is there, still you will come to me. Because if that is not there, nobody will stay in brahmacharya ashram for very long. It's like all the time doing services which you don't like. It becomes very, very troublesome for the subtle body. Mind is always irritated, and you feel like fighting with authorities. All those sort of pent-up feelings come. Why this fellow is overburdening me? Why is giving me these sort of services? So mind becomes very rebellious. So for people who are still not on the platform Bhava and Prem, who still have a subtle body, so then propensities have a lot of effect. But Lord says, don't worry, I'm accommodated. I can accommodate. So that is how Lord is very loving and very kind to the devotees. So suddenly it's not a mixed devotion service, but it can be one step lesser than pure devotion service. So then Arjuna says, hey, you are so accommodated to the devotees. So you liberate your devotees and give yourself to them. You say, even if pure devotion service is not there, one step lesser, no problem, still you come to me. But you don't do such a thing to the non-devotees. That means you also have prejudice. You have attraction for your devotees, you don't have attraction for other people's devotees, demigod devotees. So that's not good. Krishna starts answering that in 29. Samoham sarva bhutesu name dveso asti na priyah ye bhajanti tu mam bhakta maite tesu chapaham. Please read that translation.
I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Hare Krishna.
So what Lord says is, Samoham sarva bhutesu, I am equal to all. Name dvesvasti na priya, I neither hate anyone nor favor anyone. So as devotees who worship me, they are attached to me. Similarly, I am also attached to them. It is just a rule. Those who have nothing to do with me, why will I be attached to them? So simple rule is there. Then the question comes, can Lord be compared to Kalpavriksha? Kalpavriksha means whatever you ask, Lord gives. So then our Acharya says, he says, no, it's not like that. Lord doesn't just give whatever devotees like, Lord also gives beyond what devotees like or devotees ask. Like Kalpavriksha will give whatever you want when you sit under that. But devotees, even if they don't ask, Lord will give. Like for example, In the case of Prahlad Maharaj never called Narsimhadev for protection. He never said, "My Lord, please protect me, protect me." Narsimhadev came and protected him. Prahlad Maharaj never said that, "Now make my words true." Because Prahlad Maharaj said that Lord is in the pillar, he is everywhere. He appeared from pillar. Prahlad Maharaj never expected to say me, Lord Narsimhadev will kill my father. Still Lord Narsimhadev killed him. That means Lord is not like Kalpavriksha, the way he is speaking. Lord has special affection for devotees. He doesn't have affection for the devotees of Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Vayu, Varun, no. He has attraction and affection for his devotees. So Lord is saying, I am equal. Acharya is saying, no, he is not equal. They don't agree with Krishna's words. They are saying, no, Krishna is partial. Krishna is partial toward devotees, inclined toward devotees. But that is what makes a supreme personality of Godhead. That is what makes him Bhakti Vatsal. If you approach someone with love, he doesn't love you, he is very neutral, then there is no affection at all. Affection is calculated when a person goes a step beyond your expectation to please you. That's called affection. Not that, no, whatever you expect, I'll do that much. And if we approach Lord and he doesn't show that extra affection, then Lord will not be very loving person. That's why this adds to the glory of the Lord. That's add to the glory of the Lord. And also, apart from that, so that's not a fault, that enhances, that's ornament of the Lord. Now the question says, that means Lord is partial? No, still Lord is not partial. Why is not partial? Because he gives all the people an opportunity to become his devotee. He doesn't bar anyone, he doesn't stop anyone. In that sense, he is equal to everyone. Because everybody has that opportunity. But once you become a devotee, you get a special favor. No favor. So that difference is there. After that, now Krishna starts revealing his heart and how much he is attached to the devotee. So now onwards, whatever verse he is going to speak, that is like opening of the heart of Krishna. How much he loves. So text number 30. Api chetsu duracharo bhajate mamanannabha sadur ev samantavyaha samyak vyavasato hisa. Please read the translation.
Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
So what Lord says is, apichet sudurachara. Sudurachara means even if one commits very abominable action, not like simple action. So Lord says, my attachment to my devotee is my very nature. It doesn't decrease even if my devotee considers a very, very big crime. Durachara means very big crime. So like family members, somebody is our family member, then even if family member has committed very big crime, we don't neglect him. We don't say, oh, he has committed crime, he is no more our family member. Even if somebody has committed a very big crime, he remains our family member. And rather, family members don't see a fault even if the person has committed crime. I've seen so many times. So I know one person, his mother. So he's actually one of my relatives. He's been caught up in a murder case 4 times. Almost of my similar age. But then what happened is, when mother came to know about it, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Video is breaking, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay, sound is breaking. So just a minute. I think now it must be okay. Okay. Now it's supposed to be okay. Between net went down. I'll try with one more network. But till then I'll continue. So I was telling about his family member, not family member, a relative. So this relative, no, he had committed murder many times. But what mother says, oh, what to do? He's so unfortunate. Whenever he roams around here and there, somehow there is some murder somewhere. And when a police comes, catches him and takes him inside. So he doesn't do any murder. It's like no someone else who does murder, and he's caught every time. So that's called blind love. So love is so blind that no mother is thinking my son is so innocent, although he's being caught up in murder so many times. So fine, now it's okay. It's better. My sound is better now. Okay. Sarojini Mata is saying again video is freezing. It's freezing for everyone or only for
Hare Krishna
Mata?
Prabhu, it is same Prabhu, no difference.
Huh?
It freezes for some time and then it comes back.
It was same Prabhu, it was same, no difference.
Okay. I'll then try with last network now. One more network. Just a minute. This is my last option. Hare Krishna. Now things are better or no?
Better, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Anyway, I can't do anything because I had 3 options. I tried it 1, 2, and there's the last one. Even if it gets frozen, I cannot do anything. So no hope. So yeah. So anyway, I'll repeat again. So I was telling about this family member who was caught up in murder case 4 times. But her mother was saying somehow he gets caught up. Police, he happens to be found a place where somebody has murdered someone. And that is how he's so unfortunate that he's caught every time. So the point I am speaking is that so love is blind. Simply Lord loves his devotee so much. The Lord says Sudurachara. Even if he commits a lot of crime, big crime, I don't hold him responsible. Why I don't hold him responsible? Because to reform him is my responsibility. I am supposed to reform him. Because among all the different type of process, the process of bhakti is the most purifying one. Punishment is given to purify a person. More purifying than that is karma kanda, that is prasita. More purifying that is jnana, and highest purifying thing is bhakti. Already is performing bhakti, and despite that, if he makes some mistake, who is responsible? Lord says, I am responsible. I am supposed to purify it. So I don't consider him to be wrong. I don't come because it's my responsibility. So even if somebody is having bad conduct, he's addicted to violence, thievery, adultery, but if he's worshipping me and not worshipping anyone else, so again the condition is bhajate mam ananya bhakti means ananya. He's not taking shelter of karma, jnana, yoga, or anyone else. And because he's not taking shelter of anyone else except me, if you are taking shelter of anyone else, I would have told, okay, Ganesh will purify him, Shiva will purify him, Karma will purify him, Jnana will purify him, Ashram Yoga is purifying him, but he is performing only bhakti and he is performing only for me. Who can purify him? I'll only have to purify him. So then I cannot reject him, such a person. So he Ananda Bhak means his only desire is to get me. Then I'll call him my devotee. Even if you say he's a criminal, whose devotee? My devotee. Because he's my devotee. He's not anyone else's devotee. He's exclusively my devotee. So Arjuna says, but he's having bad conduct. How can you say that he's your devotee? Krishna says mantavyaha. Mantavya means he should be considered a devotee, na, because of his devotee qualities. And mantavya means he's saying it is my order that he should be accepted devotees. Not that no, should I consider him a devotee or not consider him a devotee? Krishna says no, he has to be considered a devotee because I am saying that he has to be considered as a devotee. Then Arjuna has a question. Okay, fine. If he worships you at the same time does nonsense, then the portion in which he is a devotee, you consider him a devotee, but when he is doing adultery, etc., we cannot consider him a devotee. Krishna says no. He should be considered devotee in all parts. You should not see his bad qualities. Why? Because righteousness always existed in him in a subtle way. How? Because he laments like anything. He says, I will go to hell for my sinful activities. I'm not doing activities, sinful activities, thinking that no, devotion service will purify me or save me. No. I'm ready to go to hell for my sinful activities, which are very difficult for me to give up. At the same time, I can't give up my dedication to Krishna. I can't give it up, although I may go to hell. So that's why Lord says he should be considered sadhu. Because he wants to become devotee of Krishna only, pure devotee. But what to do is particular nature is pulling him time to time. So then I don't consider it as a impediment. And what is the result of that? Shipram bhavati dharmatma saswat shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranasati. Please read that translation.
He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes.
So I'll complete this verse and then we'll take the question, possible in continuation. So then Arjuna has further question. He says, my Lord, how can you accept worship of such a person who is so sinful? How can you eat the food offered by a person who is so contaminated with lust and anger? Krishna says, no. Chipram bhavati dharmatma. Very quickly he becomes righteous. So having committed sin, by remembering the Lord, he becomes repentant. And that fire of repentance purifies him. What does he repent? Now that I am so low that I'm a bad name on the devotees. I'm like a black spot on the devotees. So Saswat means repeatedly he feels disgusted with sex. He doesn't want to do that. Or it can mean also, so Nigachati means completely when fully purified, he becomes disgusted with his activities. Or what he thinks in the future, Lord says in the future he'll become righteous, because now righteousness exists in him in subtle form. Like for example, somebody is suffering with a fever, he starts taking medicine. It takes the time for medicine to have an effect. Till then, fever may remain. Similarly, in this devotee's mind, bhakti has entered. It will take some time for him to be reprimanded or to give up his sinful activities. So sins of traces of sin may remain, like lust and anger, something may remain, but they are insignificant, like toothless snakes. So thus he attains nigachati. So very soon he'll attain. What he'll get? Gachati means he'll attain. What he'll attain? Complete cessation of lust and anger, sante. And that cessation of lust and anger will be permanent. Saswat. This means even during the stage of having tendency to commit sin, he had a pure heart, but his nature was pulling him. So nature was pulling him again. But the very fact that he has taken to devotional service, things will work, although it may take some time. So Arjuna says, okay, fine, I understand he eventually becomes righteous. Then there won't be any argument if he becomes eventually righteous, he becomes purified. But let us say till the point of time of death, he's not able to give up sin. What about that? Lord becomes a little angry. And he says, "O son of Kunti, my devotee is never destroyed. Even at the point of death, if he falls down, he remains in the fallen position, he is not destroyed." Because what happens is, before he deviated, whatever was his consciousness, he gets a similar result in the next life. And similar consciousness in the next life. So Arjuna says, okay, fine, I understand. But those who are outsiders, those who have harsh tongues, they will not accept. Krishna says, go in such a squabbling assembly. Go with mridangam, kartal, raise your hands in air and speak very fearlessly. My devotee, though committing sin, doesn't perish, but rather he reaches success of life. In this way, arguments will be defeated, pride will be deflated, and people will accept you as their guru. So don't worry. Nah. So then Arjuna says, but fine, but why are you telling me to take a vow? Why don't you take the vow? So then Krishna says, actually I'm very affectionate to my devotee. That's why I can't tolerate even little bit degradation of my devotee. So people will come to know about this Bhagavad Gita only after the war is over. And in the war, what will happen? To save you and save the vow of Bhishma Dev, I'll break my own vow. So people will say, hey, he keeps on breaking the vows, how can we believe in it? But when people will see that to save the vow of Bhishma Dev, I broke my own vow, that means if devotee takes a vow, Krishna takes very seriously. If devotee takes a vow, Krishna takes very seriously. So then you take a vow, it will be like lines on the stone, because I will personally protect that vow. Yes, I'm telling you, take the vow, Arjuna. No. So that's why one shouldn't accept these statements of falsely intelligent people. Even after hearing Ananda Bhakti, that Ananda Bhakti can purify even the greatest sinner. So they don't know, nah, even if somebody has attachment to wife, children, sinful activities, lamentation, illusion, lust, anger, still one can get purified. So that is how Bhakti has power to purify anyone. So Bhakti has power to purify anyone. So that is Krishna's love for his devotees. Outpour of his heart. Now we can take questions. Susukardan to add question.
Yes, sir. Correct. So we heard how the Lord accepts services from these devotees also. Now, coming to the context of our situation, maybe you are aware of that retreat situation in our Bangalore. So where so they're not committed, rather than sinful activities, committing a lot of Vaishnava aparad, even offenses against the spiritual master also. But at the same time, they are in a very higher managerial position also. And because now contradictory comes actually, like in terms of prashadam and all this kind of reputation, so many things is there. So how it has to be considered, because now just relation to that, even prashadam also we saw the previous context we were discussing, the Lord will not accept food which is offered by such kind of people. But here all the process is being followed here. So even devotees, we are sometimes go visit there, and so all the process is involved in that. So how to consider, understand this?
So what actually happens is that as far as Vaishnava Aparad is concerned, it's more grievous than sin, and that stops the progress of a person. It's not that everything is lost, whatever person has performed before, but then it stumbles the progress of a person. It becomes impediment in the life of a person. So then material person may be very successful. He may even become very much more opulent. But then the taste in the chanting of the holy name, taste in reading Srimad Bhagavatam, all these things will not arise. Externally person may be much more richer. Externally person may become much more powerful. That's a separate thing. Rather, Lord may offer that person more allurements so that he becomes disturbed by all these things and get deviated. That's why how Vaishnava Aparadh works is, one commits Vaishnava Aparadh, one loses appreciation for devotees. That's the result of Vaishnava Aparadh. When one loses appreciation for devotees, one commits more Vaishnava Aparadh. One commits more Vaishnava Aparadh, he lives much more, or loses much more appreciation for devotees. And finally, in the circle, a time comes when one becomes disgusted with devotee association, and he thinks, these fellows are not fit to have a pure person like me. I am so pure. And he himself steps out of association of devotees, very, very confident. And as soon as he steps out of the association of devotees, then totally he is handed over by Maya. So Maya handles such a person. So the point is, the result of Vaishnava Aparadh is very subtle, it's not very gross. So it might seem that person becomes much more richer also. Like for example, we find, whether you talk about Narkasur or Baranasur or any of these people who really create trouble for the devotees, actually speaking, they became such a powerful kings after that. Narkasur made such a castle, which is now there in Assam, near Guwahati. It's such a beautiful castle in it. So person will become very opulent also. Similarly, Daksha, after offending Lord Shiva, till he got a goat head, till that time, he was very opulent, so much respected. It's not that no, he lost things. Similarly, when the Pandavas were exiled for 14 years, Duryodhana became quite popular and quite influential in the Hastinapur. So these external things have nothing to do with the internal progress of a person. Rather because it is age of Kali, person who is a wrongdoer may be given more opulence, quite possible. So that's not a measuring criteria. At the same time, Lord accepts the prasad only when it comes through a pure devotee, lineage of pure devotee. It's like no, you slap a person's son and tell him to eat food. How will he eat the food? Sandra, if you love me, love my dog. Similarly, if you want to love Krishna, you have to love his devotees. If you offend his devotees, how will Krishna accept your love? There is no Krishna in Bhakti in that times. So if you go to his temple, then no, if such a person is an offender, Lord will not accept his prasad. Then it's not prasad. It may be looking like prasad. I think Bhakti Siddhanta when he went to the king of either Tripura or Manipur, I think Manipur only mostly, he would accept only Tulsi leaf. He would not accept the bhoga. Because it was offered by the Brahmanas who were offending Bhakti Siddhanta. They were not allowing him to speak. So he knew that these fellows had no devotion for Krishna. So only when devotion is there, Krishna accepts that. Other Krishna doesn't accept. Okay.
So one more question. Like in continuation to the same question, like here, Prabhu is a very, as I told, he is in a managerial position and very is accepting my disciples also. So now, under what will be the situation of his disciples, Prabhu? Like because he is committed all the sinful activities. Like how it acts when it comes to what is the situation of other devotees who have been accepted and they are also following Bhakti. How their devotion progress and how it acts.
The main thing is, if they are really there, they have pure intentions, Krishna will direct them to the right path.
Okay.
I've personally seen the lives of so many devotees. They have gone through different people. But if they were really sincere, Krishna has guided them to the right path. Along one of the devotees who just recently came here to Calcutta. So then he heard all this blasphemy and this and that. He lost a lot of faith, but then he came here, and then he came in contact with me. I clarified everything. Things are all right. Now he's now such a vigorous and powerful devotee. Everything is clarified. So if somebody with pure intentions, Krishna also sends him to the right path. What to say that now, even for somebody who was staying in temple, I know people who were staying in temple have left and they have rejoined our movement. So basic thing is, they are really sincere, Krishna will really guide them to the right place. But if they are not sincere, they want to see, sometimes what happens is, actually releasing the blasphemy of other people looks very good for many people. When somebody is blasphemed, it's like, no, you show a subtle sort of superiority. That I'm superior, I'm better. That gives you confidence in your own thing. But that's not a very pure attitude or proper attitude. So some people like that, so then they continue like that. So anyway, we don't have to worry about that, because we already have Bangalore has such a big population. Why do you want to worry about only those people?
Just wanted to understand, many times it becomes a contradiction. Like, a lot of devotees keeps asking, when we also have a confusion whether to accept prasadam there. So sometimes we also go and visit the temple there. So what do we have to do? Some confusion creates actually. So that's why I have.
The simple thing is, see, if you are not confirmed, then better not take prasad. Then you won't be called a prasad.
Okay.
Because when it is not going through parampara only, how will Lord accept it? It can be called prasad only when it is going through parampara. And especially somebody is blaspheming devotee so badly, but no question, no, how will Lord accept? Simple thing for us also, personally we'll see. Somebody is really torturing your child, how will you accept the offering of that person? It's such a common sense. Fine, if there is misunderstanding, it's not intentional, there's a different thing. But if it is deliberate, certainly if it's deliberate, how will you accept? So that's such a normal thing.
Okay. Here many devotees also they have accepted, even they have accepted initiation also. Although they have accepted from Hill Temple, they have accepted initiation there, and again they came here and took initiation once again. A lot of
see, simple thing is, if people are truthful, they are genuine, as soon as they understand the truth, they'll come and accept. But those who are not genuine, they will not accept. So laws of bhakti are not like something very, very difficult to understand. It's just a matter of common sense. Just a matter of common sense.
In that case, we cannot consider that as an abominable act. It's beyond that. No, Vaishnava Pradis will not be considered.
See, Vaishnava Pradis is on a spiritual platform.
Okay.
Sin is more on a metal platform. So Vaishnava Pradha also, see, actually one thing is, certainly whatever a person has performed before is not lost, but it creates a stumbling block. It creates a stumbling block. Now, because Krishna loves everyone, Krishna wants to repair everyone, then how Krishna is going to treat that person, that Krishna knows. But certainly the disease has become very big because it has been committed on a spiritual platform to such a degree. So it may delay one's progress towards perfection by very, very long time. So then person may be living very opulently, he may even go to Sarvaloka also. But then he'll enjoy in Sarvaloka and it will delay his perfection. Perfection is delayed. So the result of such a thing is also spiritual, not material. Material one may get better results also, quite possible. Okay. And if you also desire material result, then you will be disturbed. Hey, why is materially progressing? Material progress has no meaning only. Why is getting more funds than us? Right? How does it matter? See, one thing is, as soon as we start getting spiritual pleasure, then the objects of sense gratification, they have no value. Like what sins did Sudama comment that he had a poor, he was a poor householder. What sins did Kulavicha Sridhar and did? He was so poor. He was not poor. Lord Chaitanya said that you are saying and showing that you are very poor. One day I'll reveal your wealth to the whole world. That's why after going to Chandakaji, he comes back and he drinks from the rusted pot of Sridhar Kulavicha. He drinks water from that. He says, this is the greatest wealth. You have that wealth of Krishna Prem, which the whole world is running for. You know, Brahma and Shiva, they're crying for this Krishna Prem. You have this wealth. So he was the most wealthy person, although materially he was poverty stricken. Kulavicha Sridhar. Really speaking, he's one of my ideals. Really one of the, I want to become like him. So it's not that also material sense objects and material opulence, they have nothing to do with devotion service. They have no relationship. So we should not calculate things in those terms. This kind of like bhakti is very, very individual, and that individually we can understand, we can realize it. Okay, fine. Okay, so one more question was there. Somebody sent the question. Instead of saying Hare Krishna, we can chant Radhe Radhe. Srimati Radha name is secret. Radha is more merciful. Certainly, Radha is more merciful than Krishna. But the point is, Radha and Krishna are worshipped to Raganuga Bhakti. Radha and Krishna are not worshipped to Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So, Vraja Bhakti is on a platform of Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. It's not accessible to the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhaktas. But same benefit which one gets by worshipping Radha Krishna can be obtained by worshipping Radha Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So when one perceives Lord Chaitanya in the mood of Dasaras, one gets the same benefit of worshipping Radha and Krishna in a higher rasa in Raghunaga Bhakti platform. That's why Vrajavasis can chant Radhe Radhe and progress in spiritual life very quickly. But those who are not on that Raghunaga Bhakti platform, they cannot worship. They are not qualified to worship Radha and Krishna directly. So that is why we approach Radha and Krishna through the agency of Lord Chaitanya, who is non-different from Radha and Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya has descended in the form of holy name. Kaler Kale Naam Rupe Krishna Avatar, Naam Lete Hoye Sab Jagat Nistar. So we follow the process of Lord Chaitanya by chanting Hare Krishna. Then we get the mercy of worshipping, or we may get the mercy of Radha and Krishna, the mercy of Radharani, through the medium of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya is more Radharani than Krishna, in the sense that mood is Radharani's mood. It's Krishna with the mood of Radharani. So that's why we get the same mercy through the medium of Lord Chaitanya. Now further, now Lord gives example of his, how much is he accommodative, how much is he accommodative about devotees. So he gives example in text number 32. Mam hi partha vipasvutta yepi supapa yonayah Shriyo Vaisyas tata Sudras te apiyantin paramgatin. Please read that translation.
O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Sudras workers, can attain the same supreme destination. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So in the previous verse, Krishna was saying, Apiche Sudracharo. Last to last verse of this. That means my devotee accidentally commits some fault, still I consider him a devotee. But here Krishna is saying what to say accidental. Even if somebody is having some fault from childhood, from birth, that means he has accepted a body according to his previous sinful nature. But depending on our previous sin, we get a new body. According to subtle body, we get a gross body. So then he gives the example of, apart from Brahman and Kshatriyas who are in mode of passion and goodness, Vaisyas, Sudras, women, they all are in lower modes. Mode of ignorance is pretty prominent. But even if somebody has such a body, even such a person can come to me. I don't consider all these faults. So what to say of accidental faults? Even somebody has a fault from childhood, from birth. What to say of that? Even if somebody is a Malaysian Yavana, one can certainly come to the Lord. One can come to the Lord. Kirat hunand pulinda pulkasa abir sumba yavana kasadaya. Ye anne cha papa yadapasraya sraya suddhanti tasme prabha Vishnave namah. So Prabhupada gives in this verse all the definition of who all these people are. And then he says, Ye anne cha papa yadapasraya. But all these people, if they have taken the shelter of one who has taken shelter of Vishnu, what happens? Suddhanti tasme. All these people become purified because Prabha Vishnave Nama. Because Vishnu is so powerful that anybody who comes in touch with him gets purified. And such a person comes in touch with anyone else, he purifies those people also. So that's why Vishnu is so powerful. Rather, Lord doesn't see any action. So there is a beautiful verse by Hanumanji, which he offers to Lord Ram in Kim Purush verse. It comes in the 5th canto. So, what is that? Apino Avanogas Chakar. I just forgot. Just try to find out. It's in 5th canto. Wait a minute. हाँ न जन्मनूनम महतो न सौभगम न वान बुद्धि न क्रिस्तोस हेतु येनोपि विशिष्टान् न पिकर लक्ष्मणाग्रजः. So this verse is na janmanunam mahato na swargam. My Lord, you are not satisfied by big birth like Brahman, etc. Mahato na swargam, not by the great fortune. Na van na buddhir, not by eloquent speaking, nor by great intelligence. Na akhritis, not by beauty. Why, if this was so, we, one of us, we dwellers of forest, we monkeys, we don't have any of these things. We are not born in very big families, we don't have big intelligence, we are not called very beautiful. If somebody, you tell to someone, you look like a monkey, that's not considered like, we are praising the beauty. So we monkeys, we have none of these qualities, but my dear friend of Lakshmana Agraja, elder brother of Lakshman, my dear Ram, still you have accepted us as your friend. That proves that you are not satisfied with any externals. You don't consider any externals. You don't consider persons low birth, high birth, this, that, nothing. They are satisfied by divorce. Favorite verses. Now, so in this way, Lord Lord can purify anyone. So such a person can easily attain supreme destination if he just takes shelter of the Lord. Just takes shelter. Okay. And then Lord encourages Arjuna. He's saying, what about you? Kim punar brahmana punya bhaktya rajarasya satha anityama sukham lokam imam prapta bhajasvama. Please read that translation.
How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary, miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Hare Krishna.
So what Lord says is that what to say of a person like you who is Radha Rishi. Radha Rishi has the quality of both The Brahmana as a rishi is in goodness, and the quality of a Raja. So you are saintly king. So what to say of you? Even sinful people can come to you. You can easily come to me. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in my devotion service. That's why worship me. So your success is anyway guaranteed. And then Lord gives conclusion of devotion service in text number 30. Manvana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evesasi yuktevam atma nam mat parayana. Please read the translation.
Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worshipping me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Atmanam yuktaha. So what Lord says is, he tells four things. Man mana bhav. Engage your mind and think of me. So that's mana. Bhava mad bhakto. Become my devotee means perform all the aspects of devotion service with body, mind, works. Madhyaji, do deity worship. If you say I don't have time, at least pure Mahamaskuru. Mam evasas yuktevam. By all these processes, somehow or the other, you will be connected to me. So in this way, you become absorbed in me, and in this way, you come to me. Okay, so this is the conclusion. Fine. So this quote number, this verse is 519.7. I'll just put in the chat box. Srimad Bhagavatam 519.7. Beautiful verse. Okay, if somebody can read the purport of this verse. Manmana bhavat man bhakta.
In this verse, it is clearly indicated that Krishna conscious is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here. That all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert this mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is absolute truth. His body, his mind, and he himself are one and absolute. It is stated in the Kurma Purana, as it is quoted by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhashya comments on Chaitanya Charitamrita, 5th chapter, Adi Leela, verses 41 to 48. Deha dehi videdo yam nesware vidyate kvachit. This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know the signs of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of signs of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. Shall I continue, Prabhu?
You can continue. Yes.
Yeah. There are some who are demonic. They also think of Krishna, but enviously, just like King Kamsa, Krishna's uncle. He was also thinking of Krishna always, but he thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come and to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional love. That is Bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. What is that favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but is eternal, blissful knowledge. This kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise from the wrong source will prove fruitless. One should therefore engage his mind in the eternal form, the primal form of Krishna, with conviction in his heart that Krishna is the supreme. He should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for the worship of Krishna, and devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, his body, his activities, everything. That will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transfer to Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in the 9 different processes of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting about Krishna. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society. The 7th and 8th chapters of Bhagavad Gita have explained pure devotional service to the Lord that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord like impersonal Brahma Jyotir and a localized Paramatma. But a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of demigods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be perfectly saintly person. His accidental non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down because the Supreme Godhead personality takes care of his pure devotees. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to the process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of most confidential. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhupada tells how if somebody takes the center of bona fide spiritual master, performs all these 4 things of deity worship, etc., offering obeisances to the Lord, then he'll progress in his spiritual life. And similarly, Prabhupada focuses on accidental fall down of the devotees also. So it might happen that in a devotee community, somebody has difficulty and he succumbs to the sinful activities. So then authorities have to be very, very careful. They have to be very careful that although this punishment should be given in a way that if this person doesn't affect other people, other devotees, at the same time, it should not discourage him in his practice of devotional service. Because if he is discouraged in his own practice of devotional service, then there is no question of getting purified. Bhakti is the most purifying process. So that is how things should be taken in such a way that both the things should be taken. Not other people should not get affected because of his anarthas. At the same time, he should not be discouraged in his own Krishna consciousness. So one has to be careful about it. Because Krishna says that he is a sadhu. So allow him to remain a sadhu, allow him to struggle. So in chapter number 9, supreme portion of Bhakti, which is topmost secret, is given. Because it doesn't discriminate between who is qualified, who is not qualified. Anybody can practice pure devotional service, and anybody can get purified. So after understanding Lord is worthy of worship, Lord further elaborates about elements of bhakti and description of his vibhutis, which help a person to develop dasaras, servitude towards Krishna. So that Lord is going to explain in chapter number 10, which is sometimes called Vibhuti Yoga also, Lord in the universe. So that is how Lord is going to explain further on about bhakti. Now, as we discussed before also, Sarvopnisado Gavo Dvogda Mogpala Nandana. All Upanishads are compared to like cow, and the essence of cow is the milk. That is Bhagavad Gita. Who is taking out that milk? The milkman is Krishna. The calf is Arjuna. But calf doesn't drink the whole milk. It is available for other people also. Similarly, we also can release that milk. And the essence of that milk, you can say, is butter. So that is the middle 6 chapters. That is the middle 6 chapters. Among middle 6 chapters also, the essence is chapter number 9 and 10, which exclusively talk about pure devotion service. Among that, 10.8 to 11, which is called Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, is further considered the essence. So this chapter is discussing about Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. So that's why it's considered very, very essential chapter. So we'll slowly approach Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. And mostly Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita will cover in the next class. Let us see. Seems like that. So we'll start with the text number 1 of 10th chapter. भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे श्री भगवान उवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकामया. Please read the translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained."
So Lord uses the word bhuya. Bhuya means again. Why again? Because Lord had already given that knowledge to the different sages, rishis, previously, but that was indirect. So in 11, 21, 35, 11 Canto 21 chapter, text number 35, Krishna says, I have given this knowledge to the sages, but I like to speak indirectly. Because generally those who are very intelligent, they like indirect transfer of knowledge, not direct. If you say direct, then say, am I fool that I don't understand? So you have to leave some links so that they can think they have achieved something by understanding. But now Lord says, I am speaking now again. Now will make it very, very easy to understand. Same knowledge. So that is the benefit of speaking again. And Priyamanaya, I'm speaking to you because you're filled with prem, you're filled with love. Why? Because Krishna is going to speak about his opulences, his vibhutis. If somebody doesn't have love for Krishna, he'll become envious of Krishna. Then you'll find in corporate world also. Somebody excels you, you become envious. Oh, this fellow, no, he got better ranking than me, or what they call it, no, some review. You got a better review than me. And generally people have their own reasons, no, how I deserved it, but this fellow got it. So then one becomes very envious. But if that other person turns out to be your own son, then what happens? Susukardan too, let us say your son. If he accepts, huh?
I'll be popped up that he is my son.
Yeah, just see my son. He has accepted his father also. So one becomes more happy. So that's why as soon as love comes in picture, envy disappears, competitiveness disappears. Competition disappears. So similarly, Lord says, Priyamanaya, because your love for me, when you hear about my opulences, you will become proud of me rather than envying me. That is the reason I am speaking this knowledge to you. And then he says, Hitakamaya. I am going to speak it for the pleasure of those who have devotion for me, for their hit, for their pleasure, not for other people. Other people, they'll hear, they'll become much more envious. And sometimes people literally become envious even after coming to temple. So many people, they come to, they see Radha Krishna Ashtasakis in Mayapur. Many people become envious. Why Krishna is having so many girlfriends? He's having girlfriends. Why you have trouble? Only 8 is displayed here. There are millions of girlfriends Krishna has. Why you are so becoming so envious? You go and see your face on the mirror, then you'll understand why you don't have anyone. Hey, Krishna is so beautiful. Natural, he'll have so many girlfriends. Why you are so envious? So the main problem is, if love is not there, people start competing. They start competing. So then further, Krishna speaks. He speaks about the rarity of this knowledge. Na me vidu suragana prabhavam na maharsayah aham adirhi devanam maharsinam cha sarvasah. Please read the translation.
Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and sages. Hare Krishna.
Lord says, my appearance can be known only by my unprecedented mercy. Api arvag viktyasya mahitu admu adaya yatamati grananti sma kritanugrah vigram. Demigods pray. My dear Lord, we can understand you to the degree you allow us to be understood. That's all. We can't understand you beyond that. So similarly, Lord says, so one can know me only by mercy. There's no other means. Demigods cannot understand the extraordinary way I appear. Prabhavam. Bhavam means born, Prabhavam means special birth. So special birth they can't understand. So Arjuna says, fine. Demigods don't understand, I understand. But they are absorbed in sense gratification. How they will understand? So that sense has become very blunt. But sages will come to understand. Krishna said, no. Na maharsaya. Even they don't understand. Why they don't understand? Because all these sages are either sons or grandsons or grandsons of Brahma, and Brahma comes from me. So because Brahma comes from me and they come from Brahma, they can't know about it. Like one cannot know about the activities of father unless until father touches the son. So I think at least more than once I have spoken that example of where a son is trying to scroll over the marriage album of the father and he starts crying. That no, I want to come to your marriage, I couldn't, get an opportunity. And father was saying, no, if I was not married, how will you be born? But he was not able to understand. So similarly, one cannot understand Krishna unless until Krishna explains about himself. It's not possible. So that's why Lord says, even sages cannot understand. So the knowledge I am going to give is very, very rare. Lord says, so Arjuna says, but Devatas and Rishis, they know. What they know? They know that your body is Supreme Brahman, unlimited in time and space. They know that. So they may not know about your birth and activities before they were born, but when you were born in front of them as son of Devaki, that they have seen. So then they should know, they are supposed to know. But that happened in front of you only, na? That didn't happen before. So that happened in front of them, not that didn't happen before. So they understand. And then Lord answers that in text number 3. Yo mamajam anadim cha vetti loka maheswaram asam muda cha martesu sarva pape pramuchyate. Please read the translation.
He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only undiluted among men is freed from all sins. Hare Krishna.
Lord says, He who knows that I am without birth and beginningless is free from sin. That means I am seem to be born, but I am not born. I don't have birth. I seem to be beginningless, or sorry, I seem to have beginning from Vasudev Devaki, but I am beginningless. Those who know that, they are free from sins. So then Arjuna says, you are speaking as if something is very special, but everybody knows that Brahma is born from you, and you are not born from anyone. So being Paramatma, you have no birth. Everyone knows that you are Aja, Anadi. They know. So Lord says, fine, they may not know that, but they don't know that I'm unborn, but still I'm born to Vasudev out of love. They are not aware of love and devotion. So I am not bound to be born by parents. Lord may not sometimes even accept parents also. Varadev just came from the nostrils of Brahma. Took the size of thumb, to the size of elephant and the size of mountain. And then he went for fight. Narsinghdev, no mother, father, pillar only. No mother, no father. Directly came out. So when Lord is accepting Vasudev Devaki or Nanda Yashoda as the parents, that's out of love. That's out of love. So this love aspect, they don't understand. Neither demigods understand, nor sages understand. They don't understand that I am without birth, but I appear all these, or I show myself to appear out of my Achintya Shakti. They don't understand that. Like during Damodar Leela, Lord was bound by stringed bells. But despite that, Lord was not bound by the ropes of Mother Yashoda. Now, really speaking, this is beyond intelligence. This is beyond intelligence. Krishna's waist is this much only. Ropes are getting added. Still, why Yashoda is not able to bind? See, if Krishna had expanded his waist like Vamandev, no, 3 steps means he's expanded his form and then took 3 steps. It is conceivable. But Krishna never expanded his waist. We don't hear that in Damodar Leela. It was this much only. And Yashoda Mai, it's not that she was taking 2 tons and 3 tons. Sometimes our devotees are not able to explain Damodar Leela properly because you can't display those powers. So what I've seen is they want to show that 3 ropes still I'm not able to bind. They make 3 tons. One common sense comes. Make 1 ton only. Make a knot of the rope and then cut the rope. Things are done. Why you have to, put it 2 times, 3 times and so that I'm not able to bind Krishna. So the point is, it's beyond logic. Achintya. So much rope is being bound and still you are not able to bind. So then Acharya says, oh, how could she bind the source of all the universes? Any rope will fall short. But source of universe is within the universe only and having this much only waste. Let's try to imagine. Krishna showed universal form within his mouth. Entire creation is in the belly of Krishna and Krishna is within one universe. How is that possible? What logic is that? That's why the definition of Supreme Lord given by Jiva Goswami is the Lord is Achintya. Achintya means he is beyond logic. It's totally beyond logic. We just can't understand it. So that's not just possible. So the Lord says, similarly, Lord is using the word Maheshwara. Vetti Loka Maheshwaram. So Lord says that people may know that I am Lok Maheshwara. All the planets, universes are controlled by me. Understand? But the Lok Maheshwara, what is he controlling now? He's controlling the horses of Arjuna. Person who's controlling the entire universe, is he supposed to control the horses? Horses give such a bad stench when they pass through. So Krishna is bathing the horses of Arjuna, feeding them, cleaning them. And Arjuna is ordering, my dear Krishna, take my chariot between both the armies. I want to look at my army. So who can understand that? Only those who understand the aspect of love can understand that. No one else can understand. No ordinary man can understand. So demigods and sages, they can't understand that. So they don't understand that one Krishna looks like born or he's born. He's not born. It's semblance of being born. It's the semblance. And then further, Lord talks about different qualities. Buddhir jnanam sammoha sama satyam dama samaha sukham dukkham bhavo abhavo bhayam cha bhayam eva cha. Please read the translation.
Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearless, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. Hare Krishna.
The Lord says, even those who are knowledgeable, I'll not go into the detail of these qualities because we'll just go through the flow of the verses. That will take us different from the flow in different angle. So in the flow, if we see, why Lord is speaking out all these qualities, Lord says that even those who are knowledgeable of the scripture, those who know the scriptures, they can't know me by my intelligence, by their intelligence. Because their material knowledge has come from Sattva-guna. And to know me, Lord says, what jnana is required is samvit sakti. It is internal potential of the Lord. So by vidya one cannot know Lord. By para vidya one can know Lord. Not by vidya. So there are different type of vidya. That's why Lord says that even different sages who originate from me, they can understand me because I am beyond gunas. So they may be having all these qualities like buddhi, jnana, asammoha, chama, satyam, dama, sama, sukham, dukham, abhava, bhavo, bhayam, cha, bhayam, evcha. All these qualities may be there. But these are qualities in mode of goodness. I am beyond goodness. I am Suddha Sattva. They can't understand. So buddhi means intelligence capable of discerning the meaning of the things. They may have, fine. They may have knowledge, that means they can distinguish between what is soul, what is not soul, what is spiritual, what is material. Asammoha, they may not be bewildered. They may be devoid of perplexity. But all of these come in mode of goodness. They are caused by me, so they cannot know me. I am producing all these qualities. So how can these qualities be sufficient to know me? They can't know me. These people cannot know me. Shama, tolerance, Satyam, speaking truth, Dama, controlling external senses, Sama, internal senses. They all are in Sattva-guna. One cannot know the Lord by that. Happiness comes in Sattva-guna. Fearlessness comes in Sattva-guna. Out of Rajas also it comes sometimes. I am so great. Or out of Tamoguna, person who is fearlessly sleeping and not doing anything. But all three ultimately come in modes. Samatha, seeing oneself as others. These all are qualities in Sattva-guna. So in this way, all the above qualities are in three modes. Lord said they're my energies. They're insufficient to know me. So they may be required for practice of devotional service, but they are insufficient. They're not sufficient. Ultimately, one needs mercy. So bhakti is path of grace. That's what I mean. Only when one gets grace of Krishna, one can understand Krishna. One can endeavor, but only when grace comes, one can understand. Okay, so because they can, so since intelligence, knowledge, non-bewilderment can't give real knowledge of the Lord, so then what to do? What is the result? So Lord confirms the result in text number 6. Maharsaya sapta purve chatvaro manavasthatha madbhava manasa jata ye sam log ima praja. Please read the translation.
The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages, and the Manus, progenitors of mankind, came from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. Hare Krishna.
So all the people like 7 sages, Saptarishis, Marichi, 4 Kumara, Sanat Sanat Kumar, 14 Manus, beginning with Swambhu Manu, they all are born from Brahma or mind of Brahma. Or some are sons and great grandsons of Brahma. So Lord says, because they come after me, how can they know me? They can't know me. So it's not possible. When the question comes, fine, they can't know. Can someone know? It's possible someone can know. So then Lord says yes. And he answers in text number 7. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamyo veti tattatah so avikalpena yogena yujite natra samsayah. Please read the translation.
One who is yes, Professor.
Go ahead.
One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotion service. Of this there is no doubt. Correct.
So then Lord says what he says. Why my bhakti and ananya bhakti one can know? Bhakti amame kya hagraya. So those who have faith in my words, they get my mercy and they know things in truth. That means devotee understands that Krishna, whatever he is speaking is true. It cannot be wrong. Those who have that faith, they can get the mercy of the Lord. So such people, when they know about vibhutis of the Lord, which Lord is going to speak in summary, those who know about this bhakti yoga, they'll become endowed with stronger faith. Because they'll understand this is the highest truth. There cannot be anything beyond that. So Krishna is all pervading. He has so many vibhutis. Krishna has so much opulence and mystic power. So then their faith will become unwavering. And they will practice unwavering bhakti yoga. Avikalpena yogena. The word is used. Avikalpena yogena yujite natra samsaya. There is no doubt that they will engage in unwavering pure devotion service. This characterized by the knowledge of Lord's pure nature. So there's no doubt about this. That they'll become devotees and practice unwavering devotion service. And then Lord speaks Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. But I will not go further because Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita should be taken together. So I don't want to take it in parts. So anybody has any question that we can take now. Else we'll all 4 slokas now. We'll at least need 1.5 hours. These 4 slokas. They're very, very important. A lot of application is there in these 4 slokas. It seems there are no question. So we'll end here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Shilpapad ki, Jai Gaur Premanand. Hare Krishna.
அது வைண்ட் அப் ஆயிட்டார் மத்தது